Trading, speculation, investing. Discover the most powerful techniques to generate profit in bull and bear markets. Hear from the most successful traders in the world. This Trader's Perspective podcast is brought to you by BBOD, the largest non-custodial crypto derivatives exchange worldwide. Go to bbod.io and start your journey to financial freedom. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another BBOD talk. Today we have another episode of our Trader's Perspective podcast. This is where we sit down with top traders and we find out more about them, their favourite trading strategies. We also quite often talk to them about perhaps an educational service that they provide, or they might have a YouTube channel where they talk to traders and connect with people in crypto. So yeah, this is something we will also find out about during this series. So today I have the pleasure of hosting Matt. He is also known as Mr. TA on Twitter. Matt is the co-founder of the Bitcoin Trade Group. This is an educational service for people who want to get into crypto trading, forex trading, and more. So Matt is going to be telling us all about this later in the interview, so we really look forward to that. And yeah, it's great to have you here on the channel today, Matt.
Hey, thanks for having me. How's it going?
All good, thank you. It's great to have you here. We really appreciate that you took the time out of your day to come and have an interview with us. So in this interview, we're going to be discussing some topics such as Matt's favourite trading strategies. We're also going to be talking a bit about emotions in trading, how to deal with greed when it comes to trading, or having a big ego, something that can play quite a big role within trading and something you need to think about. So Matt's going to talk a bit about that, and also perhaps if you should keep a diary of your trades. So we're going to be discussing some really interesting topics today. So let's get started. So first of all, Matt, if you could just introduce yourself and your background in trading and just where it all began for you.
Yeah, sure. So the very beginning, I had a real big interest in trading when the stock market crashed about 10 years ago. And I didn't really know how to get into it. And it was kind of in the background of my life for a few years, probably about 5 years or so. And then tail end of 2013, I started looking into stocks. And that was a venture that lasted for about 6 months, and then I gave up on it. And then beginning in 2014, I started learning technical analysis for forex trading. It was something that suited my life a lot more because the problem I found with stocks is that you had to sort of stay on top of the news very frequently, and it just wasn't something that I was particularly motivated by or interested with, it turned out. So I found a lot more interest in analyzing charts and how the charts moved, and soon found out that you can draw these magical little boxes or lines on the charts, and they tend to react very well at certain points, and you can make money off of it. So I kind of dedicated myself since that point in 2014 just to learning and honing the skills, and I just used to spend every waking hour that I had spare in the charts, essentially just watching how price moved, learning what key levels were, learning what happened after key levels were respected or broken, and sort of learning how to develop a strategy based on that and what really worked around my own lifestyle at the time. And mainly sort of higher time frame trading after spending too long looking at lower time frames and finding how stressful they were and how insignificant they were on bigger pictures. And then really just developed from there, essentially. Got into crypto in 2017 at the very worst possible time, right at the top, basically. And yeah, it's just been an evolving journey, and my main focus these days is on crypto.
Yeah, okay. So that's really interesting. It seems like you said, it's kind of evolved over the years and you've moved on to different things, and now you're mostly trading crypto, which is probably quite interesting for our audience, to see because I guess everyone has a different journey getting into crypto.
Yeah,
um,
definitely. I think a lot of people got into it thinking it was an easy ride, and it certainly
mm,
was an easy ride for a period of time. And I think that, people have this view that if you get into Bitcoin, it's a very easy money maker. But as we've seen
mm,
from definitely the past couple of months, it's also very good at taking away people's money as much as it is giving people money at certain periods of time.
yeah.
And I think the real sort of the traders with a fair few years of experience will do better because they'll have devised strategies and they'll have devised different approaches to the market. And I think if people have come into Bitcoin trading, particularly, it's gonna. I think it's more like a baptism of fire. Things are often on fast forward with Bitcoin, and which is fine. People find their own way into things in the trading world and then in life in general. But
Mm.
yeah, I definitely think having a background where I've come from, the more traditional markets, has helped me with Bitcoin.
Yeah, yeah, that's understandable. So I guess this leads pretty well into our next question, which is going to be important for perhaps some of our new traders who are getting into crypto. What would you say is like your main trading strategy, and what kind of trading tools do you tend to use when you're analyzing the market?
So I've got two main strategies which I use, and my favorite is a momentum following strategy in it, which works very well in Bitcoin. Um, because it's just got exaggerated trends basically, both ways, up and down. So
Mm,
when it moves up, it can move up very quickly. When it moves down, it can move down very quickly. And um, my strategy is based on finding those little areas where there's an indication of huge selling or huge buying, and making use of a retest of those levels where I can just jump in on the trend, and I can do that on a higher time frame and I can do it on a lower time frame. But over the years, one of my main strengths in trading is my level selection. Um, without
okay.
trying to sound too arrogant or anything, I'm very good at it.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time over the years improving at my analysis on the charts and honing in on particular areas which I think, when I've got the data for it, which work over 80% of the time. So my strategy is basically it revolves around those key levels and when they get respected or broken, and then I know either way what to do. Um,
Mm,
so it's sort of a focus on highly probable areas, and it's the hard thing with it, as I've found over the
mm,
years, is actually having the patience to wait for those setups rather than what I think a lot of people try to do when they become traders or have an interest in trading, and it's trying to guess what's going to happen next before
mm,
something is, a logical setup has presented itself. So, you can sometimes wait days and days for a trade, and it's in those days where you have to find a bit of mental stability and a bit of patience to
yeah.
wait for the time to execute. Um,
Mm,
so that's the real skill. But thankfully, with momentum following, you get plenty of opportunities when the trend is going. And
yeah.
sometimes, like my strategy wins a lot more than it loses. But
Mm,
also the other problem is sometimes the trend goes too quickly, and I don't actually get an entry into the move. So that's
mm.
actually the main problem I find more than actually losing trades.
So, do you find that like this is the strategy you tend to use when, say, other traders are coming to you and saying, "What strategy should I be using?" or is it better for everyone to find their own sort of personal strategy? Like everyone should find what is comfortable for them, or how do you think it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you have to take into consideration the market conditions as well, and
Mm,
your ability to react to the market and what is presenting to you. The quicker you can do it, the better you're going to do, essentially. So if when it changes from a trending market to a ranging market, you need to look at different strategy. And my momentum following strategy works in ranging conditions,
Mm.
but it's more when a range has been established and I know what to look for on lower timeframes within that. I also use a strategy where I fade price on higher timeframes, and that basically means if price is moving up into resistance, I will look to short it, even though the current trend is very bullish.
Mm.
Um, in regards to newer traders and whether they should develop their own strategy or copy, I think everyone should, and I think everyone does, develop their own strategy
Mm.
and what makes sense to them. So we have three of us that teach in our group, for example. We have completely different
Mm.
styles, and some people, my methods resonate with them better than one of my partners. So I think really it just kind of depends on what makes sense to you the most. So I can look at other strategies and I can make sense of them,
Mm.
but I'm very much set in my way with what I've learned and what I teach and my logical approach to how I see the charts moving.
Mm.
But I think, people, particularly newer traders, shouldn't discount any certain information because so and so says something. They may see something online that says, "Oh, this strategy is shit. I don't want to do that. This is the best one." But it's something that really does depend on what makes sense to you and your
Mm.
lifestyle. But I think um, a lot of people get into trading and they've got 9 to 5 jobs. They've got full-time jobs.
Yeah.
They may have a family. They may have kids, a wife. They
Mm.
may not be able to dedicate a huge amount of time to trading. So one trader may find that he can sit in front of or he or she can sit in front of the charts all day and put a real focus on it, whereas
Mm.
someone with a family life um, may find it's better to focus on a higher time frame chart and analyze that and trade
Yeah.
that only because it depends on their lifestyle. So
Mm.
um, in terms of the way you look at the market or the way you trade the market, it definitely depends on the individual, I think.
Mm. Yeah, I guess like you said, it's got to be comfortable for your lifestyle. It needs to work around your lifestyle. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
important. So now, what do you believe are like the qualities that make a successful trader? Like, for example, when you're talking to traders, what do you find are the best qualities that will make them hopefully successful?
Um, there's quite a few. I think one of the main ones is humility.
Mm.
The thing with trading I've found is that you can't blame anyone else but yourself for
Mm.
taking a trade and winning or losing. If you win, that's up to you. If you lose, that's
Mm.
down to you. Um, and I think a lot of people will try to find different excuses as to why they've lost, or
Mm.
they think the main thing I find with trading is that you can see success straight in front of you. You can look at a chart and go, well, if I bought here with £100 and it went up like it is now, then I would have made £500. Oh, that's how I do it, and you get into
Yeah.
that kind of gambling mindset. And I think that's a real, um, it's a downward spiral if you're looking at things like that.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
humility and respect for the market is really key, but
Mm.
it's also just being true to yourself. A lot of people will not make it as traders and will probably do better, particularly in the crypto world, of just
Mm.
buying and as an investment and holding on to it for a longer
Yeah.
period of time. And
Mm.
it kind of depends on your emotional control as well. And I think, as cheesy as it sounds, I think you have to be happy with yourself as a person because
Mm.
you as a trader you will spend a lot of time sitting alone,
Mm.
dedicating your mental energy to learning and to trading. And when those wins come in, it feels great and you feel on top of the world. And you can get carried away. So you have to know that you have to be able to recognize that within yourself. When you're
Mm.
losing, obviously that can affect everything in your life.
Mm.
You could go to work and feel like crap because you lost
Mm.
money on a trade, and your whole world is affected by it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to see both sides. I think, self-awareness is a very, very big factor in success in trading, and I think there's a reason why a lot of top successful traders that have got books out and everything have
Mm.
a focus on things like spirituality and
Yeah.
self-care and all that kind of stuff because it's not just a hobby, it's not just a job.
Mm.
Trading is a lifestyle, and I really do think that to be able to, if you point your finger at someone, you've got three fingers pointing at you. And if I decided to take a trade and it lost, I can't blame anyone else for that.
Mm,
And it takes a lot for people to admit that they're wrong. Even in just everyday life, we can find excuses for blaming someone else for something. But in
mm,
trading, that doesn't work. So to be able to get over that for a first is really important. But definitely humility and self-awareness, I think, and obviously
yeah.
emotional control comes into it, but that's a whole broader subject in itself. But they're probably
Yeah.
like the three key things I think.
Yeah. We've had a lot of traders that I've spoken to that say the same thing. Like they like to be in the right headspace, and there's certain times when they won't trade. Like if they have a family, they won't trade when their children are around because
Yeah.
like they want to be in the right headspace and they don't want their children to maybe see the way that they might be, their personality might be a bit different or something when they're trading, so like they perhaps wouldn't trade like at certain times. And yeah,
Yeah,
i
I get
i
that.
sorry.
I said that, yeah, I understand it. You have to be
Yeah.
comfortable as well. You could have a lot of money on the line, and a lot of
Mm,
money depends, whatever that means to someone is, it's subjective. £1,000 could be a lot of money to someone. To someone
mm,
else, that could be nothing. Someone can
yeah.
lose that in one trade. Someone could be aiming for that as their profit for the month.
Mm,
So, when you see the profit and loss going up and down, it really does pull on your emotions, and it
yeah.
definitely means if you've got so let's just go with the example, £1,000 on the line and the money's going down and you're like £200 down in like 10 minutes and you've got your kids
Mm,
screaming in the in the hallway,
yeah.
you're not going to be in the best environment and
Mm.
time to be looking at the charts. So yeah, definitely depends on your own personal situation.
Yeah, yeah, you should work around what is best for you. So
Yeah.
I guess this again leads quite well into the next question because it's kind of similar. We were talking about emotions. So, how, I guess we already have established that emotions are important in trading, but how do you think like people should deal with them? What do you think is your tips or advice when dealing with emotions in trading?
That's a tough one. I think because I deal with over 250 people every single day in my group,
Yeah,
and you've got a wide variety of different personalities in there. And
yeah.
um, you look at sometimes you can give tough love to people, and they
Mm,
really respect that, and it resonates with them, and they can just go off and do it straight away. Some people need an arm around their shoulder, so it really does depend on your own personality type. But
mm,
this is why I said self-awareness is such a key thing, because I've seen and heard of people that will emotionally hit the buy or sell button and then watch it go and do the thing they expected, and then I'll buy or sell again, and then it'll just basically they can put 10 trades in half an hour on and lose a load of money, and then they can say to themselves, I'm not going to do this again. And then the
mm,
next day they'll go and do it over and over again, and they just get into
mm,
this cycle where they can't recognize um, their own emotions being built up inside them whilst looking at the charts and having a certain reaction to those emotions. And it really does bubble up inside, and it's a very, very difficult thing to be able to observe those emotions coming up. um, I think my personality type, I'm very logical, and
mm,
I'm very, very quick to recognize when I should or shouldn't be doing something. So it's kind of
mm.
something that's come quite natural to me.
Yeah.
It certainly has helped reading certain books to do with spirituality and to do with self-awareness. And
Mm.
I can't think of any at the top of my head. I'm trying to look around at my bookshelf, but it's downstairs. um, Maybe I can put some in the link in the YouTube
Yeah.
video. But
Yeah.
it's a really, really difficult thing, and particularly if you're sitting there at the chance waiting for trade, you do have a lot of time to be doing other things. And one of the
Mm.
things I think people should be doing is working on themselves. And I think it's also just a as well as, like, consciously working on it. I think it's something that you will learn over time as well. You could
Mm.
make the same mistake 50 times, And then on the 51st time, you go to do it, and then you suddenly, a light bulb might flick in your head and go, oh, hold on, I'm doing that thing again. So
Mm,
some people may have to work on it consciously. Some people may just have to go through the motions of time and time and time again for it to actually click. And trading takes a very, very long time to get to grips with. And if you go to university to do an engineering degree, or to become a doctor, you don't become a doctor after the first month. And it's the same with
mm,
trading. You can go through technical analysis in 6 months, but it could take you years and years to master your emotions and to see how you react to certain things. It could take you a very long time to get over that. So
mm.
there's no easy answer for it, and there's no one size fits all answer. I don't think it really depends on the personality and
Yeah.
the situation that person's in. But I think the key thing is a journal, to be
Mm,
true to yourself, and also just time. You have to give yourself a period of time, and it's not a short period of time to really see progress and understand that progress isn't going to come very quickly.
yeah. I guess like it can sometimes come down to, like you said, personality, and depending on perhaps how successful you want to be. Like some people might not take it so seriously, and then I don't know, that depending on their personality it could affect them in different ways. um
Yeah, I mean, you can I don't know, look outside the box as well, and you can have little cheats, I guess, to combat your weaknesses, as long as you know what your weaknesses are. And
yeah.
I've always presented an idea to the guys in my group where, you to get used to getting stopped out of trades, you can take half your position size off once you've come into profit and let the
Mm,
rest run, and then at worst you can only lose, you will break even. I've got a little method like that. I'm not going to give it entirely away, but that's the kind of
yeah.
idea around it, and it's to get people used to losing trades and not suffering a huge loss on their account. And
Mm,
um, you know, one of my friends who helped me in my trading journey, and he no longer trades because he could not run winners, and he just could not accept that he would get stopped out. And
mm.
I think, when you are in that situation, it's very, very hard to break out of it. So you have to kind of use your imagination to deal with those kind of problems that you've got.
Yeah, yeah, I guess perhaps if something like that happens, it's a good idea to take a step back and think about what is going wrong here, what mistakes you're making, rather than sort of, just like you said, keep making the same mistakes and, not getting any wins, and it's just perhaps making it worse for yourself because you become more emotional about it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, absolutely. You just have to be true to yourself.
yeah, yeah. So, do you believe then it's important, like you said about having a journal and kind of, I guess, tracking your mindset whilst trading, but also do you think you should keep a diary of your trades? Like, I'm quite new to trading, but I don't know if, so when you have a diary, do you tend to track your mindset like whilst making those trades as well?
It's
Um,
something that I never did, but I can
yeah.
certainly see benefit in it, absolutely. In terms of your trades, I think everyone should be journaling their trades, because you then will get given a data set to look at and to evaluate in time, and
Mm,
see what works and what doesn't. I mean, that's just trading 101.
yeah.
I think one thing I always say to people is that, to help with the emotional side of it, if you've got on your in your trading journal a reason why you lost or a reason why you took a trade, and I always say to put it in an Excel,
Mm,
rather than like an actual physical book,
yeah.
and have like a drop down menu which says emotional, or
Mm,
um, was this decision emotional? Yes, no, or reason for trade, and put in something like, because I wanted to jump in and move. I was fear of missing out, or this kind of stuff.
yeah.
But then you can look back at a set of, say, 50 trades, and you
Mm,
can see maybe 35 times that, oh, I jumped into that trade because it was an emotional decision. But so
mm,
you can look at that and go, well, there's my problem right there, is because
mm,
I'm emotionally jumping into the trades, and oh, look, out of the the other trades I took, 70% of them were winners. oh, okay,
Mm.
so there's my problem. But
Yeah.
like I said, it falls down on you being true to yourself and not
Mm.
lying to yourself, because if you lie to yourself, no one's gonna, you're not gonna benefit. No one cares if you lie to yourself. It doesn't
Mm.
affect them. If you take a trade and you tell me some made up reason why you took the trade, like, I don't care. It doesn't affect me at all. It affects
Mm.
you. You're the one that's lying. Um, so like that's one thing I always say to people when they've got a trading journal, is to definitely have that field that says reason for taking a trade. And if you've got it
Yeah.
as logical setup one, depending on this strategy, or two,
Mm.
emotional reaction, then you've got that data set then, not only for the statistics of the actual trade setup, but then
Yeah.
also your own emotional statistics as well, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's really important as a way of just keeping track of everything, and you can use that to look back when you're feeling a certain way. I guess you can look back and think, well, how did I trade last time when I was feeling emotional? How did I trade last time when I was feeling like this, for example? And yeah, so
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And
yeah,
if you've got a losing streak of 10 trades, and you can see that they're all emotional decisions, or at that
yeah,
particular time in your life, something crappy was going on, you can pin it down. You've got a reason. It's not just
mm,
wishy-washy and a made-up excuse. And because 6 months down the line, you could read that, and without the reason for losing, or the reason you took the trade, um, you won't be able to look at that and go, well, here's the exact reason this was crap, or this was the exact
mm.
reason why this was good. You won't have that. So it's important that you detail as much as you can.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think that'll be really beneficial to some of the people listening today that are just getting into trading. Like, it'll be a good way for them to start, and like, at least if they get some of this knowledge beforehand, hopefully they will use it to track their trades. And yeah, I think it'd be
Oh
really
yeah, for sure.
beneficial for them. So then our next question is, so obviously, like you said, some people come into this, they think it's a get rich quick scheme, and like they can become quite greedy, like maybe they're doing quite well and they, I don't know, get like a big ego. So how important are these things when trading? Like, yeah, how do people deal with this if they become greedy? What would be your advice?
Um, Again, it goes back to just self-awareness, and not lying to yourself, because I've seen, one of my mates who drew this chart a very long time ago, this like little graph, and it was
Yeah,
basically like just a line graph that goes up, and then it drops down, then it goes back up, and then it drops down, then it goes back up, and it drops down.
yeah,
And at every peak, it's I'm a god, I'm a trading god, I'm going to be a millionaire. And then every trough, it's I'm useless, I'm pathetic, I can't do this.
right.
And it's a very um, it's not it's a cliche thing, but it's cliche for a reason. Everyone will go through that at some point in their trading career,
Yeah,
particularly newer traders. They start winning, and they suddenly feel like, I've nailed this.
yeah,
It could come within a few weeks. I think pretty much every trader, including myself, will have a story where they pick up trading, and within a couple of weeks, they've put a string of beginner winners together, and they think, right, this is a piece of pie. I'm a natural. This is the easiest thing in the world. I'm going to make millions
yeah,
from this. Um, like literally every trader I know has one of those types of stories. Um,
yeah.
but
I suppose it's
the sorry, go on.
sorry. No, I
I was
was
going to
just
say
going
the
to say, I
success
suppose.
from trading
Yeah,
comes from when it's boring. When you suddenly become numb to
yeah,
winners, then that's when you suddenly find that your account is growing, and that you're consistently making winning weeks, winning months. But
yeah.
it's something that you just have to get used to over time,
Mm,
and realize. I think people who go on winning streaks think they're never going to lose again, and then people on losing streaks think they're never going to win again, which is
mm,
why having a data set is so important. And as long as you're
mm,
taking logical setups that have a proven rate of profitability, then all you can do is just stick to a process. And unfortunately, the very unglamorous thing about trading is that, um, to win consistently, it is a very robotic process, and it's not.
Mm,
I mean, it feels good making money, even after all these years. Like, obviously, if I close out a trade and it's a win, like, it does feel good, but it feels
mm,
less good than it did 4 years ago.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I was just going to say earlier, I suppose it's very normal to just um like go through that in trading. Like, I guess it's something you even experience in everyday life. Like, if you're doing really well at something, you probably think, oh, I've nailed this, like I'm going to be great at this for the rest of my life. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know, it can be applied to a lot of things, like even, being in school and that kind of thing, which is obviously very important, but like I understand that that could be a normal thing for traders to like just get into that mindset of like, oh, I've had so many wins, I'm going to do so well, like I'm never going to lose anything again.
yeah.
Like it
I
seems like it's
think
only normal.
Yeah, no, I think with like beginner traders, when you've kind of just getting used to things and you don't actually really know why you're winning, and I kind of
Mm,
liken it to running down a hill, and you're running and you're trying to keep your balance, and but for some magical reason you're still on your feet, and you're running
yeah,
down this hill as the momentum keeps going, and then at some point you're going to fall because it's going too fast. But I kind of liken it to that. Beginner traders will put a string of wins together and not really know why or how, or and they'll think that it's never going to come to an end. But
yeah,
again, it doesn't. You don't really have a one size fits all thing about ego. You could have someone like personally, I don't have a very big um, like personal social media presence. I don't go on like Instagram or
yeah,
Facebook or anything like that and show off flashy things. And that's a lot of ego. It's a lot of ego gratification. People want others to know that
yeah.
they're doing well or they've got X, Y, Z in their life, and that's what
Mm,
that kind of external gratification feels good inside, but only feels good inside for a temporary thing. With
yeah,
trading, you if you make a winner, then who knows other than you?
yeah,
And if you don't care, if you're only doing it for yourself,
mm,
you'll find that um, I don't know. I guess kind of like people like that have less of an ego, and they can also, and certainly I know this too. It's just as easy to lose as it is to win, and you can have a losing streak at any time. So I always take the winners with a pinch of salt because I know, and the same in life. When there's a good period in life, or whether there's a hot streak in trading, I know just round the corner a curveball could come, and suddenly I go through a
yeah,
period of not so great times.
yeah,
But again, it's just something I think you either have naturally, or
mm,
you learn over time,
yeah. And I guess all
or with a
these
mentor
things,
as well, obviously.
yeah. And I guess all these things at the end of the day, like the mistakes that you make in trading, that also tend to apply in real life. When you make mistakes, you learn from them. So
Yeah, well, you hope
it's
so anyway.
always yeah, hopefully, yeah, it's always going to be a learning curve when you make a mistake. So yeah, no, that's really interesting to hear your thoughts on that, because it can be such a huge thing within trading. And again, for people that are watching today that are like just getting into trading, it's something important for them to hear. I think now, when they're just getting started, kind of something they can think about when going into trading.
Yeah, for
um
sure.
Okay, so now finally, we'd love to know a bit more about your educational service, the Bitcoin Trade Group, and how, like, someone new, like a newbie, can benefit from this, from using your service. So, yeah, we'd love to know
Sure.
more about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we've actually just celebrated our first birthday. We started it a
Oh,
year
happy
ago.
birthday.
Thank you. I think it was end of July last year. So this is technically we're about to complete our 12th full month.
Yeah.
So we basically have a trading course for newer traders, for intermediate traders, and for experienced traders. We cater for everyone. I've
Mm,
personally been trading, well, 5.5, 6 years. My two
mm,
other business partners, they've been trading, I think, 8 or 9 years and 6 years, respectively. So we've got,
yeah.
certainly in the sort of like crypto Twitter space, we've certainly got a lot more experience than most, and we kind of use that to guide people not through just technical analysis, but also the psychological thing about trading. Because I mean, I think it's a very understated thing
Mm.
in particularly on Twitter, but in trading, the mental side of trading is huge. It's probably the biggest part of trading. So
Mm.
we use our experience not only to offer the profitable strategies that we have honed over the past several years and have used for a very long time to obviously stay consistent, but we also use our experience on the mental side of things. So we know when people are having a tough time, how to speak to
Yeah.
them and
Mm.
what they're going through. We know how it feels. So we have, yeah, a complete trading course. We have something like over 300 videos, 300 hours
Wow.
of video content.
Yeah.
We do daily market reviews. So every morning at the London Open, I will do a market review for the crypto at London
Okay.
close.
Mm.
And then the other two guys, Maine, he's in Canada, so he does the North American session, and
Mm.
the other guy, Scarface, he does the Asia session. So
Okay.
Bitcoin's 24/7, and thankfully the three of us cover every side of the world, and we
Yeah.
have 24/7 coverage, if you like. So that's a really beneficial thing. We do
Mm.
live streams where we have like Q&A sessions with everyone. And we have our Discord where we've got about 250 odd people in at the moment, and
Yeah.
we've got very people of varying experiences. We've got people that have been in there since the inception of the group who have
Mm.
really taken on our concepts, and they help out the newer people as well.
Mm.
So it's really, yeah, it's a really active community, and we're really proud
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And it's a real fun thing every day to come and talk to all these different personalities. But yeah, it's a really good service, I think. And
Yeah.
for those that don't want to find out more, we have a free newsletter as well, where we
Okay.
give a market analysis video out
Yeah.
every week for free. We give free written market analysis, a trade setup for one of the major crypto assets, and
Mm.
sometimes free educational videos as well. So yeah, we're very active, and we're very proud of what
Yeah.
we've built.
Yeah, I guess it must be nice, like with everything we've been talking about today, it's good for traders to know that they could find that support network and people with all different experiences. So they perhaps wouldn't feel alone so much. Like they've got people there to talk to, someone to like, put a shoulder like put an arm around them and like guide them a bit more because like you said, I guess it can be quite lonely and you can feel a bit alone when trading, like just most of the time you're by yourself. So I think it
Yeah,
sounds
I
really
think.
good to have this.
Oh no, absolutely. I think anyone's either a genius
Mm.
or kidding themselves or anyone around them if they say that they never had a support network when they were learning trading.
Mm.
I had a close friend that was helping me out when I was learning for the first time,
Yeah.
um, and I had forums that I used to venture onto. And
Mm.
I wish I kind of had this Discord community when I was learning, because when you are feeling crap, like I said, I've got a personality type which I think I work out a lot of stuff myself,
Mm.
and go through the process over time. But some people haven't got that, and it's great to be able to lean on other people. And like I have said, it is a very lonely venture, and to be able to come online and have 250 people to talk to,
Mm.
and who so if you're going through a losing streak, it's great to talk to someone about it. And when you're
Mm.
going on a winning streak and you've got someone that isn't doing so well, you help them out, and it makes you feel good, and it helps you build your own experience up as well and yourself. So
Mm.
no, it's definitely a very big positive, I think, to be able to talk
Yeah.
actively to other traders.
Yeah, that's so important. Like you were saying earlier, that that side of it can be the biggest thing in trading. So to have like a mentor there, like could just help you so much when you're feeling alone with something like this.
Yeah, for sure. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
drawing on our experience is quite good. Sometimes when the markets just make no sense, and to have three or four daily reviews at different time zones, to cater for everyone around the world, and obviously for the movements in the
yeah.
market, we make sure that everyone in our group knows every day what's going on. And so if someone's feeling lost, we've got those videos that are constantly being churned out, so they don't get lost.
Yeah, no, it's good that you've got people like in different parts of the world. Yeah, that's so important. Like with us as well at BBOD, we've got people in lots of different countries, and it means that they've got that person there to talk to that, you know, is going to be awake at the same time as
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Okay. So that was our final question for today. So yeah, it's been great to have you here on the channel today, Matt, and a
Thanks
big
for having
thank
me.
you. That's okay. A big thank you to you as well for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's been really interesting to find out about your service, the Bitcoin Trade Group, and also we've discussed a lot about emotions and kind of dealing with a lot of different things that can be very important within trading. So I think this will be very helpful for the people watching today. I think there'll be a lot of people probably watching today who are quite new to trading. So definitely go and check out the Bitcoin Trade Group in the description of this podcast. We'll have the link there. We'll also have the link to their newsletter. So, yeah, definitely go and check that out if you want to brush up your skills or if you're new to trading. This can really help you out. And with the support network as well, you can get that mentorship. So, yeah, go and check all that out in the description. And then also, if you're just getting into trading, you can also check out our platform. Head over to bbod.io to find out more about trading on our trading platform. And stay tuned because we're having a lot more interviews just like this. We're in the process of interviewing a lot of different top traders and finding out about their educational services or their YouTube channels. So be sure to stay tuned. And yeah, thanks again, Matt, and see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye bye.